need more energy, so we're going to do this again. I'm sorry. But yes, let's get up again. I'm sorry. This is who I am. I'm sorry. Let's get up. Let's give a round of applause to Simon and John for bringing us all together today. And then I need to know if I'm yelling, because I'm a screamer, so I just need to know if I'm yelling too loud or too, is that better? Better?
Good.
That sounds good? Okay, awesome. Keep the volume high. I'm right-handed, so I feel like I need to hold this in this hand, but we'll see how it works out. I might switch. All right, so get comfortable. Very grateful to be here. I just wanted to express first my gratitude to John and Simon again. There are certain people in this world that I say yes to. One is my wife. She's sitting at the table. She was an immediate yes. The other people that I say yes to are people that I see leading others, that I see inspiring others and leading with value and giving to others. Those people, two sitting here, that's how I met LaShawn and Tawana. I've spoken at an event in Detroit back in June. That's how I met James Rembert at this table. When there are certain people that you meet that give and lead others, do you say yes to them more often? Let's get a yes. That's right. And sometimes, you don't know people yet, so you've got to get to know them before that. But some people, you immediately know they're a yes, right? Because you witness them leading and giving. You witness them leading by example all the time. So I just wanted to express my gratitude to you. Number one, hospitality. Who loves hospitality? Hospitality is much different in California. There often is no one even behind the counter at Macy's anymore. I'm a Nordy's girl. But at Macy's, it used to be when I was a little girl, you'd go to Macy's and they would dote all over you, right? That's how service used to be. Now, a lot of us complain that service has changed since COVID. Why is that? Because you don't believe that they care that you're there often, because service has changed. You walk in, do you have a reservation? And like, there's 17 tables open. Do I need one? It's not, hi, how are you? How can we serve you? So I appreciate the hospitality. This is me. Actually, look, it's sort of compressed, but it's working. So a little bit about me, just to edify me, right? Because you want to make sure that whoever you're taking advice from, all the people up on the stage are amazing. Many of them have accomplished much greater things than me, just different things. Not necessarily the thing that I want, but amazing things. And we don't know all about them. Jill may own 20 buildings. We have no idea. We don't know all about her, but we know how she's treating other people, right? So this is a little bit about me. It says impactful speaker in training. Why is that? Because it's on my goal list. I really do want to come up here and make an impact, not come up and feel that you all applauded me and that you liked it. But the reason why I want to be up here is because there are people that I care about that don't introduce me by, oh yeah, Jessica, she sells a shit ton of houses. I do a lot of houses. But the way that people introduce me often that know me are how I impact people, how many people I've helped, what I gave. The biggest, I got goosebumps saying that about myself. I'm serious. It's so special to me. And one of the awards, just to edify that, is that I won the #1 contributor of the year at our company out of 80,000 agents last year. Why did I win that award? Thank you. Appreciate that. By the way, can we get a quick shout out to Charles here? Charles is not yet licensed. Stand up, Charles. Let's talk about impact for a second. These guys, they invited us out to dinner last night. We had an amazing dinner at Ruth's Chris, and we met Charles. Charles was our host and waiter. And Charles, I'm calling you out, Charles, because this is what I do, right? LaShawn and Tawana know this, yeah. So the reason why I wanted to introduce you to Charles is because LaShawn and I don't know who said it, I think we all said it, is that we said, Charles, he asked us all for a review at the table. Before we got up, before you leave, I want the review. Not when you go home. Let's do it right now. Why not? And he had shared with us a story about one of his clients, I'm going to call it a client so you get used to that word, customers, that had actually written a review for him that really impacted him. And he kind of teared up a little bit, I think. I'm just to beautify the story. But it was touching, the story that he told us. But he remembered those clients, right? And it makes you want to go back 36 years later and have dinner with Charles. He'll be the most successful realtor in New Jersey by then. But the point is that that's the kind of experience that we want. That's the experience that we want. We want to come here and we wanted to feel good. Who came here for a reason or just because you had nothing to do? Was it for a reason? It's for a reason. You want to get around people that want to see you win. You want to feel that. You want to have an experience. It's not about coming here to learn one thing so you could go home and become successful. You wanted to come and have an experience with your colleagues and your peers. So the point is that you want to be a servant leader. We're going to talk more about that. But Simon Sinek he's one of my favorite people. You've got to sort of pick the people that you identify with, that resonate with you. Because a lot of us go around, we read all the books and we learn all the things and we come here and we get all the nuggets. But the thing that we don't spend time on and that we don't invest time on is investing in time to determine what our own philosophy is. Because people do not buy what you do. They actually do, and that's the way I started in real estate, is that I believed that I had to sell real estate to make money, right? So that's what I said I did. And my career is a little bit different than many of you. It's been focused on real estate investors. So that's how I get started. It actually started with a $12 an hour job in an office where I learned everything I need to know to completely crush everyone else in the office. Eventually later, except for one that I chose to continue to work with for 10 years, which is my business partner still. And that's because we aligned in core values and the type of person that he is, right? Everyone else didn't care about all the investors that we had sold tons and thousands of houses to in 2012 and 13. But when those REOs dried up, they went and left and did something else. And I said, well, I don't have a job now, so now I have to reinvent myself as a real estate agent. I think I'm going to start calling these investors that we know and build relationships, right? And so that's where I got started in real estate. But they didn't buy what I did because I was still the young investor. What they bought was why I did it. And why I did it was because I really wanted to prove that I was the best. So at that time, I still hadn't really figured out that that wasn't the way to do it, right? So Simon Sinek's golden circle model is that every company, let's talk about real estate specifically, they know what they do, right? So every one of you in this room, you know that you sell real estate. You sign contracts, you process paperwork, you pick up your phone, you make calls, you prospect, whatever it is. You're a real estate agent, you sell houses. But not many real estate agents can actually clearly articulate what their value proposition is and how they do it. That's something you do when you kind of level up in real estate a little bit. You can clearly articulate how you do it and why it's better. You have the best technology, the best marketing. You know exactly how you do it. And you can train and show other people how to do it and how they can become successful. But not many companies, not just real estate companies, but not many companies can clearly articulate why they do it, right? So let me give you a quick example, but go and read Simon Sinek's book. It's one of my favorites. I think it's called Why. I'll message it to you all later. But why, for example, is Apple computers. Who's got an Apple computer? Okay, those are the people I want to be friends with. I'm just kidding. Actually, I was a Droid person for a long time, but always Apple computers. But why do people buy Apple computers? Because Apple doesn't say, we sell the best computers. Like maybe Dell or whatever, they'll say, we sell the best computers. But Apple talks about why they sell the best computers. I'm going to give you an example, which it's too much to read, but I wanted to talk about building your message around why you do it. And this is how you easily will attract the people that you actually want to work with. So I personally could not work with investors every day, just if I went out and picked any investor and worked with every investor and kept burning myself out, because many investors, they're just like humans. Many of them are a-holes, right? They don't follow through with what they say. They don't do what they say. They don't do anything that is congruent with a successful finance person, leader, business person. So don't go work with anyone. So how do you attract it? You have to build relationships with the people that do treat you well, and you have to lead with that value. So I'm going to give you this example. This is what I used to do in marketing when we were looking for off-market properties. We will give you the highest price, we will sell your house the fastest, and we will give you relocation money. Call us today. Oh my gosh, like really elementary, basic stuff, right? Who's guilty of ever doing that, if I have one honest person in here? We all see that. All the people in the front of the room raise their hand. Why? Because they made that mistake and then they learned that it didn't work, right? Exactly. So this is too long. I don't recommend, but I just thought maybe some of these words would resonate with you. But, we believe that homeownership is a cornerstone of generational wealth. These two ladies, that's their message. What did they say when they're on stage? They're talking about their mission statement. Everything they do, say, and sell and build awareness around why they do it. They had a mission, they've accomplished that mission, now they can even tie their own story to why they do it, because they've done it. But first you can start with why you want to do it. The hardest part is that you've maybe learned 25 things in here, maybe one, that you're going to rush home and say, this is going to change my business or make it a little bit better, and I'm going to start tomorrow. But the problem is that if that thing isn't something that really aligns with why you're doing what you're doing and why you're building a real estate business, it won't be sustainable because you will not be motivated to consistently do it. And that's the key. So find why you do it. So I put some data together with you. I wanted to bake this in. Why? Because what's most important to many of you right now, or to me and to our business, is it needs to be relevant to the current state of the market, right? So data overload, because it is. It's too much data to put on here, and it may not be relevant to you all. In fact, this is national data. But we shared this recently at our national conference. You can't read it. I have another version of this slide deck that I'll send. Excuse me, a little dry. Need to drink more water. But investors account for 26% of home purchases in the month of June. 26, thank you so much. Well, we better not put it by the projector because Simon already yelled at me for that. I was trying to use it as a tripod. Thank you. So 26%, that's a quarter of the business. And these were mid-size and small investors. So I work with hedge fund groups and REITs, companies that in California are not currently purchasing homes as rentals. I don't dare that you all understand exactly how that works, but how am I ever going to get them to buy a house again? By being creative. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Something that you were talking about, right? At the end of the day, REITs and big companies and funds, they're just people. Many of them know a lot, some of them know some, and some know very little, but they continue to grow into larger investment groups or larger companies and make more money and have more friends that they want to refer to you if you build relationships with them in the beginning. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I wanted to talk about mortgage delinquencies. So the point of all of this data is really for context, but real quick, look at the data and understand who are the people that need to sell or buy now. And that's what we've got to focus on. We talked about that earlier. It's why do we want to chase the cold leads? Sure, long game, yes, they work, but where you really want to focus is the people that need to sell now. So this is a little bit of data, but the key is to find the context in the data and then to determine who those people are in the marketplace that maybe you weren't even considering, you've never worked with, you've stepped over, or you thought, oh, a lot of people build businesses around FSBOs or whatever, but that didn't work. Well, that was a different market. It was saturated with people doing it. But guess what? If out of 8 people, you're one of the 8 that actually converts at a high level because you're building authentic relationships, guess what? You'll be the one that converts. So you just need to pick the places where you can find the business, and then you need to break it down into what you could do. So I built a little bit of a formula. Not everyone will agree with this, and that's fine, because the point that I want to get to is the reflection for growth. And that's where you can build authentic relationships. So number 1 is discover your audience. So you look at the data, you find out who needs to buy or sell in this current market, right? People having babies, people moving, whatever that is. And it might not necessarily that you're targeting them. If you're reinventing yourself in a new marketplace, absolutely. You're going to have to start from scratch. But these are all in your sphere as well. And then you're going to define the why. So you're going to define how are you going to help them, right? Why are you doing it? And then tailor your message to lead with value. We talked about that. The blueprint for your marketing strategy. So the blueprint for your marketing strategy is literally this. You have to, behind a closed door, you have to actually write it out and determine what you're going to do. And if you don't know what that is, guess what? There are, how many people do we have in this room? At least 100 people?
150.
100, how many?
150.
We have 150 people in the room that are winning at some level or are really good at one thing. So the way that I've developed a lot of the things that I've become successful at is by figuring out and defining who those 5 people are that are winning at it, that I also like to be around, and then I have lots of conversations with them. And like you said, right? You're gonna go and you're gonna follow up and you're gonna email. So I wanted to ask this question in here. How many of you know 5 people in this room or less? 5 or fewer people in the room? Okay, that's good. Pammy, I invited Pammy, we were on a Zoom the other day, said, Sammy, anyone in the New Jersey area? And Pammy said, yes. I said, great, come. Right? So you want to be an inviter. How many of you know 10 people or more? Okay, so many of you know a lot of people. That's great. So the key is, though, did you come just to hang with the people that you already know? Or are you going to go and make contact with people that you don't know yet? That's the game. It's a contact sport. But I'm at EXP. I'm brand agnostic. I love all brands. And I would say there's many things that all companies are doing very well. But us getting together in groups where it's not just your brand, but getting outside and networking with people at different companies, that's where you can start really innovating. Because everybody's focusing on the why and who needs to buy and sell and what to do and what to take action on. But what you guys have to figure out is what you want to take action on. So if it's not the book that somebody said on stage, you have to define what it is that you want to do and then go read the 5 books that are specific to what you're trying to accomplish. Make sense? Okay. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if you can find that thing that you're like, I'm absolutely passionate about this, I want to do events. I looked at your Facebook and it said, I want to deliver the best service, like Nordstrom's, right? I love that. Not everyone knows what that is, but people that get it are going to go, I love that. I wonder what that experience could be like. We were in the airport yesterday, we flew in, and I was walking by, and I stopped and took a picture of it because I loved it. And the sign said, our new delivery service, or our services are about you. It's like, I love that, right? Because I want to know, well, what is the service? What are they offering? It was a food delivery service. If that sign had said, we deliver food, would you have stopped or been interested in the sign? Not very interested, right? So you're going to be curious about why people are doing it. The next one is commit. So I have a real estate coaching client, and she's absolutely amazing, been in the business for 8 years, but similar to a lot of things that you're hearing, our business has gone down so much, and I don't know why, and I don't know what to do. One of the key things is really getting recommitted to what the actions are that you have to take to create the success. And the question that I asked her once we figured out how many houses she had to sell instead of going to get a job was, are you committed to selling 6 more houses in the next 6 months, which was her goal and her price point? Who here feels 5,000% committed to what they're going to do tomorrow to build the success that they need to build next year? Like 5,000%. Committed is not just wanting to do it or wanting to achieve it or wanting the goal, but committing is actually committing to do the work. And I'm going to tell you that there are going to be some amazing things to come from this guy, James Rembert, in the room, and he's going to talk about things that I know nothing about that will free up your time to be able to focus on the thing that's important, which is having the conversations and building the relationships. These are the basic principles. There's no reason why R is not blue or underlined, just so you're not wondering. But this is me in Mexico. That's Michael Valdez, one of our C-level execs at EXP. And the others are actual volunteers at the company called News Story. And the reason why I'm on that trip, well, one is because my wife and I had donated to News Story to build homes in Mexico. But actually, the reason why I'm there is because there was a drawing. And I called my business partner, I said, hey, you also need to donate to News Story because they're doing a drawing. And whoever wins the drawing, I don't think I'm supposed to tell this story. Oh, well. Whoever wins the drawing gets to go on the trip. Just them, one person. So who wins? My business partner, Brian Brook. He puts his thing in the drawing. He donated like $300, right? Not like $25,000 or $50,000, like $300. He wins the drawing. I am pissed. I'm so mad. I was so mad. I was like, I had to breathe for a minute before I called him because I didn't want to take it out on him, But I was not excited for him. Why? Because I really wanted to go. I had built relationships with these people. If you look at my email signature, branding, I had been putting it out there. I'd been talking with them. I'd been going on their lives and sharing it all over the place and helped them achieve their goals. We raised $300,000, $600,000 ultimately to build out this project of 100 homes. So the reason why I'm there is because I reached out and I said, is there any way 2 people could go? And guess what they said? Yes. Immediately. Well, first it was, let me check, and then it was yes. Why? Because the gal there that's next to me, she said, Jessica has given so much to us, and she's really built a relationship with us, and I feel it would be important because she's going to learn so much. She's going to go back home, and she's going to share this message, and she's going to be able to make a bigger impact on what we're doing. Right? So I got to go. It was a scary trip, but I had a great time, and I built relationships with more people. And the following year, believe it or not, because I'm not great at this. I'm not saying that I don't feel comfortable and I'm not having fun, because I didn't come here to get a great applause. I came here because I think there's at least one thing I can share with you all that's going to change your perspective and get you more curious about what you can do and what is possible when you get home. I can't tell you exactly what to do, but I can inspire you or excite you to do something new that makes you completely uncomfortable. And for me, it was building relationships with executives on that trip that just knew that I really had the giver mentality, so they put me on stage in front of 6,000 people. And I couldn't even talk for 5 seconds. I did, but I told myself the one thing I wanted to accomplish when I went on stage was that I did not want to appear to be afraid. Why? Why? Because that would make the people that chose me to go up there, would make them feel proud, right? I wanted them to feel good. I wanted the opening of that event to inspire and excite people and to get that party started, right? That was what was important to me. And when I got off, and when you open the big doors, there's like the big fans in the hallway, and my hair was like blowing, and I was like, wow. Next time, I'm gonna say something. And that's what I did. And eventually, my friends invited me to speak at an event. And when John and Simon said, hey, you should come speak at our event, I said, what do they think I'm gonna say? I'll figure it out. And what I've learned is that rather than overthinking it and thinking about it so much and planning, and who used to hate to have to memorize something that they're gonna say in front of the class when they were kids? Oh my God, sweating, so nervous, sick to my stomach. You wonder if you got a flu from the food, but it's just your anxiety. You're like, oh my God. But the real deal is that getting out of that comfort zone, sometimes I lay in bed and I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I say yes? But when I look back and you look at the incremental growth, personally, professionally, on every level, when you put yourself outside of that comfort zone, it's like, not just that it's thrilling, but that's how you can grow in every area of your life. And every little thing that you do, you show up a better version of yourself. And that makes me happy. So curiosity, we already talked about this, but asking better questions, right? Being curious about people. Persistence. Talked about me being nice. Guess what? When I played basketball, it was, I'm gonna knock your ass down, but I'll come back once I make the basket and I'll help you up. That's who I am in everything I do. I will kick the door in, but I brought pizza or whatever. But the point is that I'm coming in the door. So everyone's gonna have a different idea of how to, like Jared shared some really great conversations. But I can tell you right now that not every successful realtor is able to use that script. I'm not saying that it's wrong or that it won't work. It absolutely will, especially if you have the confidence to deliver it. But we all have a different style. So that's why you want to go back to the why, so you can work with the right people. Reciprocity. One of the smallest mind shifts that I've noticed with real estate agents that's been effective is that agents will say, well, I don't really want it when I'm networking. I don't really want to introduce to somebody that I'm a real estate agent. I feel like they're going to think immediately that I want something, right? But if you lead with value, right, or you ask those curious questions, you get to know them, then it's not so hard, because guess what? They're also going to ask you, what do you do? That's your turn, right? So the assignment, invest time in reflection for growth. What does this look like? It's not easy. That's why not many people do it. It actually means going home. It doesn't matter if you had a big conference, a little conference. The point is, this is all you need to know. You could take all 25 strategies, but what you have to go home, something similar that Gaurav had said, is you have to actually write it out and then look at it and go, does this get me to exactly where I want to go? Is it directly tied to the outcome that I want? And if the answer is maybe, then you need to research more. If the answer is no, throw it away. If the answer is yes, lean in, and you're gonna have a path and you're gonna be motivated. So collaborate with people that help you reach your goals instead of tying up your time and energy. How's my time? Am I over? Good? Wrap it up. Be intentional, take action, remain consistent. We've all heard that a million times, but so I wanted to share this real quick and wrap up. I have a client who I've sold thousands of homes for. Okay, thousands. The only two people I answer my phone for, my wife, she's here, and that is true. But him, I stepped out earlier. I was bummed to step out, but I stepped out and answered his call. Why? Because he wanted to know, and this is how I got creative, was they own more than 10,000 homes in California, and we're not buying anything right now. That hurt my business a little bit. We're still selling a lot of the homes, but we're not buying. So what project am I working on with them? How can we put ADUs on 800 of them? Guess what? They don't need me to buy those. They already have them. But what can I do? I can offer better marketing for those ADUs to get them rented out at top value so that the portfolio performs well, so that we can actually go out and take that formula and buy more houses when they run out of the ones that they've already put ADUs on, right? So I answer the phone and answer little questions that I've prepared for. Hey, I just got to thinking, I'm going to meet all the people that flew in to check out this inventory, and I'm kind of worried. What about squatters? I had 5 ways that we could keep squatters out. I'd already researched it, figured it out. So when he called me, I said, boop, 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 boop. Why? Not because he couldn't have figured it out, because he counts on me to be a resource to him and to add value to that relationship. So luck, it's not luck. It's where preparation meets opportunity, okay? So love y'all. Thank you so much. You can find me at jessicanieto.com. There might be stuff on there, but more importantly, I dare one of you to reach out to me and ask how I've sold 1,000 homes, because usually it's only 1 or 2 out of 150. Not because you don't like me, I'm sure you love me, but because you go home and get busy. So don't go home and get busy. Go home and invest the time to really invest in yourself. Take care. Thank you.